the winner of the presidential vote is X, and that's it.
With so many votes.
And once it is declared that way,
They can do the telling
the
themselves.
media will pick it up, and it is repeated across. And if IBC is listening, they'll also pick it up. So that's the transmission right there.
Okay, all right. Interesting. Perhaps an attempt at simplifying the process rather than it being a three-way transmission, which is what happens now to the constituency tallying center, to the county tallying center, and then to the national public portal, which is where we're at. And those are the numbers that you are seeing on your screens now. Once again, it is close to 40% of those Forms 34A. And remember, that number has just increased. We're now at 21,878 of 46,229 Forms 34A of the presidential vote. That is 47.33%. That number is increasing every minute, and that is what results or translates into the numbers that you are seeing on your screens for all the 4 presidential candidates. Just a quick reminder, if you're just joining us, the votes that are counted first are the presidential. Remember, we do a 6-way vote for 6 positions, but we count the presidential first. We're slowly getting to the 50% mark. Listen, we will hear from Angela Mbitho in just a moment from Infotrack. Surely these are numbers that must be exciting her. Actually, she's not yet here on set, but look, let me just paint a picture for you. She's seated offset. She's with her notebook and what looks like a calculator.
Crunching numbers.
So she's already crunching the numbers. So it should be really interesting to hear what she has to say on that one in a moment. And we'll get her on set right away, because I'm dying to hear what she has to say about these numbers. But let's take you to the IEBC. Is that right? Not yet. Okay, the entertainment is still on. I'm wondering if we can get Angela here on set right away. I don't know. I'm dying to hear what she has to say, and I'm sure
me too.
The viewers are as well. In just a few minutes, we shall have her here from Infotrack, what these numbers all mean. So, like we've been saying, one of the most important things about the IBC is to make, or rather any electoral management body, Alex, would be to make these announcements, quickly enough, accurately,
Exactly.
but quickly enough.
Exactly.
Because we know that the IBC has up to 7 days, to make the final announcement and everything. But even Waswahili, as Jamila would say, ngoja ngoja humiza matumbo, and starts to, to sort of create this, what are they doing? Why should it take so long? Are they cooking it? The numbers. But, this is obviously something that they must do quickly enough, right, Alex?
Exactly.
But Yvonne, remember,
Yeah.
we have 46,229 polling stations.
Correct.
The average number in those polling stations, if you take 21 million voters, is about 500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long does it take to count 500 ballot papers? Honestly.
700, they said, for every polling station.
No, but the average.
But that's the maximum.
If you take 22
Yes, the average.
Yeah.
by 46,209, the average is about 500.
You're right, yeah.
So it is just, it is unbelievable. It is mind-boggling for one of the most literate societies on this continent.
And most expensive election.
That we can't count votes in 500 for 6,229
Okay.
polling
May
stations,
I play-
which only has 500
May I
people.
play the devil's advocate for IEBC here? The process of counting, I suppose, is a lot more tedious than 1, 2, 3, 4 until you get to 500. They have to sort them, then they have to count them, and then they have to tally.
But from what I
and then they have
remember,
to take an image with a Kim's kit, and then,
You put it in the middle.
Yeah. So maybe that's what takes time, right?
But even from what I remember,
But they've already done
the ballot papers are, the presidential ballot with
Right.
this box.
Fair
So
enough.
in that polling station, you just take that with it, and
the
then you
box.
just count.
Okay.
And you just empty the box and count.
Uh-huh.
Unless Angela has some other ideas about how this works.
Yeah.
But it should be pretty simple.
Okay, yeah, it should be pretty simple. So, Angela is joining us here, and she's saying her hellos to everybody. We'll let her get settled in before we bring you a visual of that. So she's joining us here. Look, those are the numbers that you are seeing on your screen, and we'll continue to keep them there. That number changing from that public portal. And remember, the IEBC is now making that public so that just about anybody can go to ibc.or.ke and do their own tallying, basically.
Right.
But we have someone here who tallies and counts for a living. Angela Mbitho from Infotrack. Angela, what do you make of these numbers? That are coming in. What do they tell you?
I think the first thing that it tells me is that turnout is critical to an election.
Right.
And it would be interesting to see, I think it's early times yet, in terms of absolute numbers to know what each candidate is garnering. But I think what it's telling us is that it's well and good to get people. I kept hearing you
Angela,
guys.
I'm so sorry. I have to, cut you short for just a moment because IBC seems to be ready now with that press briefing. I think we're done with the songs and the prayers. Let's listen to them.
Deeply thank all Kenyans for heeding our call and voting peacefully during the polls held today, August 9th, 2022. This manifestation of political and social responsibility is commendable, knowing that God appreciates those who keep peace, as we read in Matthew chapter 5, verse 9. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. We thank God that the whole process has so far been encouraging. As we start receiving results from various polling stations, we have the following points to reflect on together. First, voting process. Throughout the day, we received reports from more than 3,000 observers spread across the country. These reports indicate that although there were some logistical and technological hitches, polling progressed well in most of the stations. We commend the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission for putting in place a structure to ensure efficiency in the process. We are, however, concerned that elections were suspended in some parts of the country. We urge the voters and candidates in the affected areas to remain peaceful and patient as they await the opportunity to vote for their leaders, which the IEBC has announced will be done soonest possible. 2. Counting and tallying. Following the closure of polling stations across the country, the electoral process has now shifted to counting and tallying of the votes. We call upon all the IEBC officials, agents of political parties and candidates, and all others involved